At the winter meetings with Dan Duquette. And Dan, you updated the Baltimore reporters here a minute ago, and you said had a lot of talks on a lot of fronts today, correct?
Yes, we did have a lot of talks. We're making some progress on our adding to our pitching staff. I think we've got a better idea where we can add, and hopefully we'll be able to add some people, possibly by the end of the week, first of next week. And then we had a couple of trade discussions where we were working to see if we could add a pitcher through a trade. That didn't come to fruition, but we're still working on it.
You have a sense, let's say before you leave here or shortly after, whether it's more likely that additions will come via free agency or via trades?
Well, there's a number of players on the market that we can just sign, and we're going to sign some of those players. We always like to add. In a trade, you got to subtract something. And we're always looking to add. So there's some players that we can sign to add to the organization without giving up players in a trade. Although I am very encouraged by the players that we've been asked for in return in the trade. We have a little bit more depth to our farm system than we previously knew about based upon our interaction with the other clubs and their requests. They like some of our young pitching, and of course we're going to need that young pitching, but it's good to know that we have it there available for trades if required.
You mentioned today that in some of the agencies you met with, you were encouraged by their interest in us. We often think it's a one-way. Teams are reaching out to sign free agents. Does it happen the other way where agencies kind of pitch you their guys? Hey, look how our guy can help you?
Well, a lot of times it's about the opportunity and the job availability. And in Baltimore, we have good opportunity, but we've also been able to create a culture where it's fun to play ball. The guys like playing for a winning team, and they like playing for Buck. They like the standards for the defense. The pitchers like to throw to a good defensive team behind them, and then players want to be in the hunt. They want to be in the pennant race. So we've been able to provide all those things in terms of the team and the Orioles organization, so that's encouraging.
You mentioned teams have asked you about some of your young players. One of those young players got a nice honor today. Tanner Scott, drafted last year, was named by the Arizona Fall League to their top prospects team. Young man has hit 100 miles an hour in Instructional League and Arizona Fall League. What about his improvement over the last, say, 12 months?
Well, deservedly so. I mean, Tanner Scott, here's a young kid with a terrific arm. And our scouts did a nice job in identifying his talent to be able to pick him up in the 6th round a year ago. But here's a kid who you can follow on Twitter. I mean, the guy throws 100 miles an hour. There's probably 5 left-handed pitchers in the business that can throw that hard, and we're fortunate that Tanner Scott is one of them. But he's still young. The kid's just 21 years old, and he took a good step to go out there in Arizona. He clearly showed that he had excellent talent by the scouts, by not just how hard he threw, but this kid can throw strikes. He's working on a breaking ball. And he could come quick given his ability and, of course, the big demand for pitching.
All right, before we leave you, let's ask about one more young pitcher. Dillon Bundy is your top pitching prospect. He was shut down before his last start in the Arizona Fall League with forearm stiffness. How is he doing?
Dillon is doing fine. I believe when he gets to spring training, he'll be 100%, and he'll be able to throw and compete for a spot on our club.
Which would be big. The talent's there when he's been healthy, isn't it?
Well, he's got great talent, and he's going to need to show that he can be physically dependable to help the team, and this is a big year for him.
Dan, thanks for taking time again today.
All right, my pleasure, Steve.
Dan Duquette with us at the winter meetings here on MASNsports.com.